Who's that Pokemon? It's Arthur Castillo.
One of the earliest people to ever do B2B street interview content. He was doing escalator interviews at Chili Piper. I think that, you got a lot of inspiration for doing B2B street interviews from Arthur. And we've kind of really turned it into a huge product offering at EventShark.
I've been hearing more and more like the most powerful video that you can use right now is like customer case studies and testimonials. Are you guys finding the same thing?
100%. It's a matter of intent. Chances are the person watching the testimonial did not stumble across it in the LinkedIn feed, right? It's someone with higher intent. They're watching it with a purpose. Maybe they're evaluating the product.
You might get 50 views on this testimonial, but those are usually high intent viewers.
Yeah.
And that's going to help move the actual needle.
The storytelling is such an interesting piece. And like, even the way you guys are talking about it, what you're really doing is you're arming sales with a story tool belt. In sales, I think we focus too much on the product, but really what buyers are thinking the whole time they're demoing is like, will this work for me? Do we have any other evidence of companies like me?
What sparkling water we got today, Ding?
Oh yeah. Today's sparkling water sponsor is Polar Seltzer. That's all we had. No glass bottles this time, because we're not home in Austin. But I am very excited because where are we?
Exit 5's Drive Conference 2025, second year. We're back.
Coming in live from Drive by Exit 5.
Shout out to Exit 5, the best B2B market.
That's why we thrive. But who do we have on the pod today?
That's part I love about Exit 5 is that there's so many great people in the community. We got Arthur Castillo in the house. If you guys don't know who Arthur is, he is one of the earliest people to ever do B2B street interview content. He was doing escalator interviews at Chili Piper. I think that, you got a lot of inspiration for doing B2B street interviews from Arthur. And we've kind of really turned it into a huge product offering at EventShark. We're doing street interviews at Drive. We're doing street interviews at all different conferences because such a great piece of social content.
Yeah, Arthur, welcome to the show. How we doing, my man?
I want to say I think I manifested this. I've been so jealous of the in-person Austin podcast. You guys are talking about B2B street interviews. And here I am coming to Exit 5. I knew you guys would be here, but I had no idea you'd be setting up the podcast here. So I'm like, come on. Like, I didn't know when I was going to be in Austin the next time. Here I am. This is amazing, guys.
Worked too well. And we're excited to talk to you a little bit about your new company that you're launching. You've been in the sales, marketing, content world for a while now, have a good grasp and perspective on the industry. And I think me and Ding kind of always like to pick your brain too on what's kind of working in. And, if Arthur is in on it, we're like, that's probably a good idea.
I've been very fortunate to work at what I consider hyper-growth companies, Chili Piper aligned. They've always been a little ahead of the trends. Like content at events. I got a chance to do a ton of influencer marketing, community marketing, and then I took a lot of those learnings to Aligned. I think we had a lot of success in influencer marketing. There's one campaign in particular that we did with a customer, and the feedback that I got from that campaign was way different than any other influencer campaign I had, which is starting to lead me to believe like, man, I feel like it's such an untapped gold mine of your customers where you can do marketing with them. But I think maybe the radical idea I have is how do you actually get them involved into your sales process? And typically we leave that at the end, at the reference call when everything's kind of ready to be signed. But I have a much different vision on how I want to bring that customer into the sales process.
Yeah, it's actually even what Sangram was talking about as the second keynote after Dave was how you want to get to 120% net customer retention or something along those lines. That I'm watching the exact stat, but it was all about like customer retention and how can you do that? Customer marketing, baby.
Exactly. Like there's so much there. And it's funny when I even talk to marketers and I ask them like, hey, how are your case studies? How's your customer content? Most of them say, yeah, we're kind of dropping the ball there. Like we use the same references over and over. It's kind of the 3 case studies. Sales is always asking for, hey, do we have any customer from this industry at this like size of company? And I think there's so much to do there. But I think along the way with this whole concept of dark social and like peer-to-peer buying, it was like the impetus for me to start thinking about how do we get customers more involved. And I want to call it like, I think a lot of marketers believe like dark social kind of just happens organically. It's like word of mouth, right? Like your product should be so good that people would want to shout from the rooftops and tell other folks like them. And that's true in some level, but I think we can also structure that and like create those. And that's what we did at Chili Piper, where the magic was actually in the seating arrangement. We would actually seat our best customers next to our best prospects. So they never actually heard a pitch from us, the biased company, saying why you should buy our product. They're hearing from their peer as to what they've been able to do, how they used to do things, and they can speak on a much different level. And honestly, like, these conversations are hilarious because sometimes they might even say, hey, that product is really shit at this, but they're amazing at this. And that's what I think is lacking in our sales process. Like, we try and paint a pretty bow of like, our our tech tool can do this and that. And it's like, ugh, not necessarily. And if it can do everything, then customers are looking for an excuse of like,
sniff the BS.
Exactly, right? Like, what's actually, like, give me the truth behind this. So I saw it happen with these in-person events by bringing customers there. And can I tell you guys another quick little story about influencer marketing versus customer marketing? We were doing a ton of this. There's one girl in particular, shout out Morgan Shelley. She had a post that went absolutely viral, like thousands of likes. The headline was, I just closed $1 million deal in less than 90 days. Here's how I did it. And then she tagged my former company Aligned as like one of the first points. And I'm like, okay, one, I need to put thought leader spend behind this. But I went to my CEO and I was like, I want to pay her like we're paying our influencers. And I got pushback. And he was like, one, they don't have the same audience and distribution that other folks have. And two, maybe they don't know necessarily how to write persuasively in a way that their posts would drive people to take that next action. But maybe like most rogue marketers, I asked for forgiveness instead of permission, started paying her on the side, like for posts. Eventually he found out, and we're tying it to PLG signups. And I had this conversation with her near the end of our pilot. She didn't drive too many signups. And I'm like, look, we can't continue this relationship. Then she proceeds to pull up 10 screenshots of VPs of sales and CROs that are saying, we see Aligned everywhere. We don't know if we're ready for the product. Can we speak to you before we go into a sales process with Aligned? And I'm like, where the hell was this when I was trying to fight for you to renew?
Dark social.
It happens. And people, like, this is one of the eye-opening moments of, like, they wanted to speak to her before even evaluating us. Why? Because she is a power user. She's closed deals. Like, that's what people want to hear from. So I at least convinced my CEO to say, look, let's interview her. Let's break down her process of how she closed this $1 million deal. And the kicker here was we actually created a $1 million deal room template. Align's a digital sales room tool. So we just kind of looked at her process and allowed people to copy and paste that. The feedback that I got after that campaign was so much different than any other influencer campaign I did, where people were saying, I thought I knew what Align did, but I had no idea it could do all of this. Sales reps were saying, hey, I downloaded her template. I actually closed a couple of deals. Sales influencers were coming inbound being like, holy shit, I had no idea this is what the product does. I want to adopt this. I want to go more. And that's to me when I was like, okay, this is I've never had that feedback. How do we get more of our customers involved? And how do we maybe start measuring it instead of direct conversions, but they have a network of people that are watching their move or trying to listen to them about what they could potentially do better. And we're not tapping into that. I'm like, the customers, marketing jackpot. And now I'm starting to think they could probably tell a lot of people in their network about how they're using the tool, but I don't think companies are operationalizing that in the best way. And that's where I think I want to hone in and create an offer there.
Yeah, really putting the influence back into influencer.
There's our sales bar for the day, for the pod.
So Arthur, having gone through that experience and then now getting deeper on the customer marketing side, for a marketer that's out there that wants to stand up a program like this, what are some things that people operationally can do to make this a reality? All of this stuff is happening, right? And all of this stuff will happen regardless in the background. Your power users will speak to people. This is more of a capture something that's already happening than create net new. Because these conversations will always happen. They always have happened. They will continue to happen. But as a marketer, what are some signs or signals or ways that you can identify that and then take it and boost?
Yeah, I think a couple of things come to mind. The first is giving them an opportunity to do content with you. I think that's such a missed opportunity where customers actually want to do this. One company I'm working with, they were doing NPS surveys. We took all the 9s and 10s out of that. We said, hey, we're so glad you're having a great experience with this product. We'd like to invite you to our customer advocacy program. here's a quick little survey where you want to lean in, how much you want to do it. And then from there, like the CEO was floored at how many customers were willing to be involved in this program. So the first thing, and maybe this is a sales mentality, you just got to ask and make it easy for your customers to lean into that. And I actually think that's the first layer, because one of those check boxes were, hey, are you willing to refer anybody? Quite a few people actually check that. And what does the CEO do? He says, okay, can we just send them an email and see who they'd be willing to refer? And I'm like, no, we have to earn the right. And we either have to make sure that they're getting a lot out of the product so we know the timing's right. But one of the best ways is just like customer case studies or interviews, because they get to share their experience. They get to go back into like, hey, this is the moments of transformation. And that's actually a perfect opportunity. Oftentimes I have a list of potential intros right then and there. Once we hit stop recording, I say, hey, you mentioned you'd be open to referring people. These are some of the folks, like how well do you know them? So I think you have to create customer marketing with them before you earn the right to potentially look to expand and get that word of mouth or referrals or get them involved in your sales process.
Yeah, and a superpower we've been seeing just in the market is like so many customer events, user conferences, like such a hack into having these conversations with all your customers in one place and like just making your customers feel special. Get them featured in testimonials, case studies, because yeah, as you said, like a lot of these marketers, they know the power of brand building and being, featured in testimonials where they're seeing success. Everyone wins there.
I've been hearing more and more like the most powerful video that you can use right now is like customer case studies and testimonials. Are you guys finding the same thing?
100%. And it's a matter of intent. When video first started getting popular in the B2B space, everyone over-indexed on social content, organic top of funnel, because it was the quickest way to get surface level metrics, right? High number of engagement and likes, comments, etc. We know, because we've been in the game, especially because we've all been in sales, we know that the surface level vanity metrics doesn't necessarily translate to pipeline and closed won revenue.
Yeah.
But with a testimonial, it's different, because chances are the person watching the testimonial did not stumble across it in the LinkedIn feed, right? It's someone with higher intent. They're watching it with a purpose. Maybe they're evaluating the product and they're doing deeper research on the website, right? Maybe they have a specific use case that's highly relevant to them. And the testimony videos or the case study video is not even on the website. It's part of sales collateral, and the rep is sending that out. Highly relevant to them. When it comes to video, if you look at the YouTube space, what's the one metric everyone cares about is watch time.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something I don't see people talk a lot about in B2B, but it's a really important metric. It's the same thing as you're on a sales call with someone, right? And you see their eyes darting around, they're checking their Slack, they're checking their email, right? And they're not engaged. And that happens a lot with social video. Because what do people do on LinkedIn? Oh, my friend posted something, or this company I'm trying to sell to posted something. Okay, I'm going to leave a comment, hit them with a like. Yeah. Right, but are you really imparting the important message? Yeah. So I think viewer intent and the amount of engagement and their attention is to me is the most important metric in B2B video, and that's why testimonial and case study videos they're by our hottest offer right now. We're helping a lot of companies with those, and then just the feedback that we get from our clients, the ones that we do great testimonials for, generally have seen better results than the one that only focus on top of funnel.
Yeah, our customers are, the sales team's like, how can we get more of these testimonials? We just had one of our clients say, hey, can we do 4 more testimonials?
Wow.
Like, I think just as Ding's saying, like, you might get 50 views on this testimonial, but those are usually high intent viewers.
Yeah.
And that's going to help move the actual needle. And just having a plethora of those is so helpful.
To add to that, not every customer's use case is the same, right? Like you could have one problem or one company with a suite of solutions, and the more diversified your testimonial library can be, the more relevant you could push the use case to someone, right? Hey, this is a lookalike, based on what you told me about this problem that you're having. X customer was in a similar boat. Historically, testimonials were a bit under-indexed or it wasn't built out. And a lot of that goes into what you were saying earlier, is that there wasn't a strong internal program or operational excellency within customer advocacy, right? People weren't thinking about aligning that storytelling. Yeah.
The storytelling is such an interesting piece, and like even the way you guys are talking about it, what you're really doing is you're arming sales with a story tool belt, and they need more of that, because unless you've like hunkered in on a specific ICP, like I think that's really lacking. Like in sales, I think we focus too much on the product, but really what buyers are thinking the whole time they're demoing is like, will this work for me? I don't know if it will. Like, Do we have any other evidence of companies like me or people like me in our position or the company size? And a lot of this speaks to that. So if we're arming sales reps to at least share that story, and then the follow-up is like, cool, now the champion believes in it, you can actually leave that story with them.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, I saw a demo and they actually left me with somebody in my specific industry, like going through the same thing. They have much more confidence. And this is why my hope is like, how do we get customers more involved in the process earlier? Because it just de-risks that whole decision by them.
How do you find the right balance between arming your customer advocates with the brand and messaging from your go-to-market team with them using their organic language to talk about the problem and the solution in their own voice?
Maybe a hot take here. I don't think you do. And like, I'm thinking back even to the Exit 5, like so much of the messaging and the go-to-market that the tips they're giving is like, you have to use the voice of the customer. So this feels like a company thinking that they know more than their customers, and the customers like dictate the product roadmap, what they got from it. So by us trying to put our own verbiage or how they should talk about it, I think defeats the purpose. And if you hear some of these customer calls, they're very honest. Like, they're not trying to paint that this whole software product is amazing. They're like, man, they're actually shit at this, but they're amazing at this. And that gives confidence to the buyer being like, oh, I actually have a solution for that. I don't care, but I'm glad to hear that they're really good at that. So if you try and arm them, I feel like you're almost like making them a sales rep. And what they have unique to them is their customer voice. So I think just putting them in the same room and having two peers talk to each other and like about the before and after, I don't think you try and put a hold on that, but I'm sure a lot of companies would and will try and teach them. I think a little bit different like way to phrase this is, how do you help them maybe with their line of questioning or the flow of the conversation versus trying to get them to talk like you? Because I think that defeats the whole purpose of these customer calls.
Bang, bang, bang. You got to keep it real.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah. If you're hearing just like, amazing, so good, they're perfect, everything, you're not going to buy. Like, it's just like, feels phony. Feels like you're on a sales call. Oh, this is like pick your Pokemon here.
We have some other colors too.
Oh, this is like paradox of choice here. Are we doing this on camera? Pick your Pokemon, like Bulbasaur, fucking Squirtle or Charmander. Like, they're all amazing. I don't know.
Okay. Now you gotta throw it on and turn around like Ash Ketchum.
Who's that Pokemon? It's Arthur
Castillo. Tuned into this, go check out Arthur Castillo on LinkedIn. Go check out his new company, Modern GTM, if you want to do a little bit of get deeper into helping your customers sell, or helping your sales team, or helping your, how would I say that? Helping, what's the tagline?
I guess like modernizing your go-to-market, man. Looking for other ways to grow your company.
Yeah, I think the customer is a huge unlock here. Get them into the sales process earlier. Go check out Arthur. Thanks for hopping into the pod.
Man, this is awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
Peace out.
Yeah.